Hello and welcome to White Men Can't Pod. It's episode 6. I'm your host Ryan and I'm here with Mr. Bill Cash.
Take over, Wally. I'm in the bag.
I like how that was also acted out. I wish we had a video podcast.
That was good.
Also here, he's Wally Foy.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's podcast time.
Never gonna change it.
Nope.
Today we're talking about Glory Road. In 1966, Texas Western coach Don Haskins led the first all-black starting lineup for a college basketball team all the way to the NCAA National Championship.
Very hard to find online.
The game?
When you
Oh,
Google
the actual
Glory
game?
Hole, a lot of things come up besides this movie.
that's not right.
This is a good movie. It's called Glory Road.
Glory Road. Wally's doing it.
Yes.
How do we first see it? I never have.
This
Yeah,
was
this-
how I
this
first saw it.
podcast.
Okay. I saw this one time. I believe it was on DVD. I might have borrowed it from a friend or something like that. Or was it Redbox?
I do remember that like previews and stuff for it when it first came out, but I didn't see it probably because I don't see that many movies.
That's fair.
That's probably why. But I remember it being like a thing. when it first came out.
How are we ready for the box office game?
Oh, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
How much did this make? How much did this movie make?
14 million.
No. I'm going to go 35 million.
Molly, you're the winner. 42 million.
Oh, that's good.
900,000 and change. It's a pretty good box office.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all. In 2006, maybe that's not a great number, but
It's a good one. I would imagine they
Pretty
made
solid.
money on it.
Mm-hmm.
solid number. I don't know if we have any
Like how much it cost.
how much it costs. I don't see that here, but
See.
it's fine. Okay. Do we have any segments to be named later?
No.
Uh,
Do you want to do the eBay wars at the beginning?
Budget
or-
was 30 million, so they made
A
almost 13 million on it.
Yeah, okay.
No,
That's
I
good.
think we can wait till the end because
Let's wait till the
it'll
end.
fit. It'll.
All right, Wally, take it away.
Yes. So, this is about the 1966 Texas Western championship winning. Spoiler alert. NCAA championship.
Come on.
We start with the 1965 high school championship for girls in, I want to say, Texas. Not sure if that's where.
Probably.
Yeah. And they get a buzzer beater win. This team that we're supposed to be rooting for. We meet Coach Haskins. He goes back home and he's teaching his kids how to play basketball. Then he bounce passes his son right in the face.
Yeah. Got to get them hands up.
Tradition all fathers have.
Yeah.
I like how the mom, she's like, you gotta catch it with your hands, not with your arms. I'm like,
Got to learn it sometime.
he gets a call about.
Shot for that curve.
He gets a call about coaching a college team, and they have to live in the men's dorm in order for this to happen. So, but he's like, "Yep, I'm all for this."
Yeah, basically he says that like if this is going to get me coaching college basketball, I'll do whatever you want.
Yep. His assistant coach Mo gives him the rundown of the current players, and he tells him that they don't have a budget for recruitment. The budget's in the lights, I think.
Yeah.
is what the
And the
saying
lights
was.
are like there's like bats flying around them or something
Yeah.
weird.
So Haskins goes to talk to the AD about getting some more money for recruitment, but he gets shot down.
Yeah, he's like, I brought you in to babysit, basically, to live in the dorm and keep them out of trouble.
Bizarre.
He goes to a senior showcase anyways. He gets ignored by the good players, but he sees a black player named Bobby Joe Hill come on, and he plays very well. He goes to the head showcase runner guy, and he asks him where he can find Bobby Hill. And the guy says, don't bother with the kid, but he goes looking for him anyways. So Hill is in the locker room, hanging it, and he tells Haskins that he's hanging it up because he doesn't want to sit on the bench or be the token black guy on somebody's team.
There's a scene later that we're probably going to talk about, where they're talking about, like, a couple of white coaches are talking about the token black player, and it's like, there's unwritten rules.
Yeah.
You play 1 at home, 2 on the road, and 3 if it's a blowout.
If you're losing.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But that's like the only reason you would ever have black players in your team
Yep.
at this point.
Haskins, however, convinces him that he's going to play him, and he's going to play him from the start. Like, he's going to be, you're one of my go-to guys. You're one of my leaders here. So then he's in the bar with his assistants, and he tells his assistants that he wants to play 7 black players, which they tell him that's not done in the South. And then that's where we get the unwritten rules: 1 at home, 2 on the road, and 3 if you're losing. So Haskins sends his assistant Mo to New York City to recruit 3 schoolyard players. He takes his other assistant, who I never caught that guy's name, but takes his other assistant to scout a guy named Harry Flournoy, who's playing at a steel mill. Harry gets off work, and he thinks he's gonna get jumped by these guys who are
He's
just,
being chased. By
Yeah.
this.
Who's
a couple of random
"Hey,
white
kid,
guys.
hey,
Who
kid."
they're
Yeah.
following him around the city too.
Yeah. So he runs home, and he walks in his house, and he says, "Mom, you won't believe what happened." And some guy, and there's Haskins in his house talking to his mom about recruiting him. Who he eventually convinces the mom to let him take her son all the way to Texas, El Paso, because where was he from? He was from Indiana, I think. Was he the one from Indiana? The coach then goes to find Orsten Artis, who's in a gym practicing in front of some of his friends. Haskins baits him into playing against him because he says that he can't measure up to D1 just so this kid will actually take him seriously and want to play for him. So he D's him up pretty good, and then he shows him a simple ball fake crossover, and that's enough to get this kid to want to move to El Paso.
Never heard of a crossover before.
Apparently not.
Thanks, Coach.
The 3-point stance or whatever.
Here's what you got to do: get your butt down.
Yep.
A ball, you man. You're a championship team.
Sag.
It almost worked for us.
It did almost work.
It did almost work for us that one time.
Mo is in New York City looking for the 3 players, but he makes the mistake of saying they're colored boys, and this is at a schoolyard in
In New York,
in
somewhere.
Bronx. I
Yeah.
think they were in the Bronx. So obviously this does not go over well. But he's talking to Haskins on the phone later, and he's telling him about how good these players are. But then he asks for another $100, and we zoom out to see that they took all of his clothes. He's just standing there in his boxers and his white undershirt. The 3 players that Haskins recruited are now on the bus with the assistant coming back to Texas. The AD and Haskins have a conversation about the boosters not being happy about playing or having a bunch of black players on their team.
Yeah, they're mad at the school for hiring this coach that's going to allow black players to play basketball.
Mm-hmm. The white
Insane.
players then meet the black players at lunch. One of the white players tries to calm everybody down. He's Togo Riley. He introduces himself. But then we get a pissing contest that breaks out into a basketball game played in the cafeteria with
Garbage
cans.
basketball game.
Yeah.
And a cabbage, right?
Cabbage,
and
yep.
basketball cans?
Mm-hmm.
Or garbage cans?
Makes sense. Then we get David Letton. He arrives, and it seems like he's a superstar. He's driving a nice car already. I don't really know what his story is.
This
they don't
is-
really go into it.
Just one of the somebody's like, you got David Latin to come here.
This
Exactly.
is some of the problem with this movie. This is a good movie, good story, all that's great. But we learned so little about these
each of them.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because they tried to show all of them instead of focusing on the 1 or 2
On
big
him
stars.
or Bobby Joe or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we get a little of Bobby
We
Joe.
get
but
we get more
We
of Bobby Joe.
more
than
on him,
anybody.
but anybody but.
Oh well,
yeah.
maybe
The
Shed?
center shed. We get some shed
Yeah,
stuff.
we get Harry's mom still.
yeah. And then we get Scoops or Willie Cager.
We get a lot on Cager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd I go? So they're at practice, and Haskins has a speech about his way of playing basketball. And then somebody makes a wisecrack because they hear that he used to be a girls' coach. So he decides to run him ragged. And he tells them no drinking, no girls,
No
Just-
no dunking.
no
dunking.
dunking.
Yeah.
Oh, and no drugs. I
No
think he said.
no fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Too
Fundam-
flashy.
It was a
Flashy.
fundamental something defensive basketball.
Yeah.
That's his go-to line. Later that night,
Play
though-
worse.
Later that night,
I
though-
recruited you for doing this stuff. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Play worse.
Mhm.
Play worse than you actually are.
Later that night, the black players, decide to go out to Juarez for some fun. They walk into a bar and the place goes silent for a minute, but everybody goes back to having fun.
Yeah, no big fight like you thought we were gonna get here.
Nope. They're having some fun when Bobby Joe tries to talk up the waitress. I think her name was Tina.
Sure.
Actually, I might have it at the end. Where is he? Yeah, Tina. So he tries to talk up Tina, but she's not interested in him. She thinks he's just a flash in the pan, that kind of thing. Next morning, they're at practice, and Haskins is pissed because he knows they all went to Juarez because you guys speak Spanish now? And just keeps... Yep. He runs them even harder than the day before. Bobby Joe gets a steal and goes up for a layup, but he does some showboating on the way, and Haskins doesn't like it, so he runs him down for that. And then in the hallway, Bobby Joe's talking about quitting, and Haskins confronts him and just basically says, if you quit now, you're a quitter for the rest of your life, and that's it. Then we get a bit of a montage of of basketball practices and school. Harry gets called to Haskins' office about his grades. He's like, whatever. What's he going to do? Run us harder? He's already killing us.
Yeah, it's like it's rocks. I don't care about
I don't
rocks.
care about rocks.
Yeah.
But
So Haskins calls up Harry's mom, and she comes to school,
mom.
and she sits right behind him in class. And whenever the teacher asks, who knows this? And she goes, my son Harry can tell you. And he answers like 4 questions right in a row, and
My
everybody's
son,
just
Harry can tell you.
making fun of him.
He knows about rocks now.
Yeah, he does.
It's just a minor school. That's all it is. They don't learn anything else.
That's true. Latin is a big tough guy, but his roommate, I think it was Shed. Yeah, Shed catches him talking on the phone with some girl, but he bursts out and like chokes Shed and tells him to sleep out in the hallway.
He
He's
does.
like singing on
does.
the phone.
yeah, he's serenading.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do, guys.
Again,
I think-
something very bizarre that we learned, but
Is
not-
that something you have to?
A serenade, but that doesn't feel like a first date. That feels like a second.
Yeah.
Before the second date, after the first date,
So we're not adding.
I
this
get on the
into your-
phone.
That way you can get the second date.
Yes,
I
okay.
gotcha.
I
Okay.
think that's how that works.
All right.
That's not part of your plan then.
Well, it's part of the plan to get a second.
A
date.
long con.
Yeah, it's part of the long game. Because clearly, this isn't the first time he's met this woman on the
No,
phone.
no, it's not, obviously. So Shed sleeps in the hallway all night, so he's a little, tired. And then Haskins just runs him down at practice and decides that he's too soft, and he goes to his room and he starts packing his shit, and he says, you're going home, and he gives him a ticket, and he sends him home. Shed goes to the gym instead, and he starts playing around with an imaginary ball like you do. And did he have a ball? He might have had a ball. Either way, he's like, oh, clock's ticking down, 3, 2, 1, he makes the shot, that kind of thing that all the kids do. The next day, he comes back to practice, and Coach Haskins tells him, get out of here. Like, what are you
You're
doing?
out- you're outta here.
I kicked you off the team.
Yeah.
You're done.
And he just yells at Haskins to let him play. So he's like, all right, go ahead. He goes up for a layup, and Latin lays him out, and it looks like he breaks his nose. So he doesn't want to get off the court, but the assistant coach forces him to the locker room. And then like 5 minutes later, he comes back out with a catcher's mask on. And that's when Haskins is like, all right, you can stay.
Now go get your nose fixed, you
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, the doctor, the trainer's like, he won't let me fix it.
I don't really blame him. That shit hurts. If it's worse getting it fixed than it is breaking it, in my opinion.
Never done it, thankfully.
Yeah, I've got too much experience with that. The next day is their first game. The lineup is announced, and he's starting 3 black players, I believe.
Yeah. I think it's
Latin, the point
Bob-
guard,
Bobby Joe
Bobby
Hill.
Joe, and I think
Flournoy?
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 Yeah, something. I think so.
They make it seem like he's at the end when he is injured. They make it
Like
seem like
super
he's
important.
a big deal.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole movie,
You don't really see him.
you don't really see that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Like the big stars are Latin and Hill.
And Bobby Joe, yeah.
And the other guy who has the heart condition.
Yeah.
But even he's like the interior defensive rebounder.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not really the scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lineup is announced, but the fans only clap for the 2 white players who started. The boosters do not like that he's starting 3 black players. Haskins then keeps yelling at them to stop showboating and play fundamental basketball. They win by 4, and the other team won't shake their hands. Hill and Tina are on the roof having a date.
Oh.
When Haskins finds them,
So is this what I incorporate? I got to try to get her onto a rooftop?
oh,
After the song or before the song?
I don't know. Is this first date or second date here?
I mean, this is their first date, isn't it?
So I think after we talk about moving in together,
Yeah. Do
Come
you want
with
to come
me?
up to my roof?
come with me. I got to show you something.
Also, I was like, why is this guy in trouble? Like,
Yes.
He's not doing anything.
No girls. That was one
No
of
girls,
Haskins'
that's the
rules.
rule.
Yeah. No liquor, no girls.
No Duncan.
Yeah, no Dunkin'.
No Dunkin'.
Yeah.
No dribbling
Ba-
between your legs.
Yeah.
No styling and profiling.
So Haskins finds them up on the roof, and he takes Hill to the football stadium and makes him run sprints up the bleachers. Hill wants to quit, but Haskins gives him a speech about, I didn't have the talent, but I worked harder than everybody. My dad didn't, I'm not the smartest coach, but I work harder than smarter coaches. And then he says, you better, with all the talent you've got, you better start respecting yourself and respecting me and my dad
And the game.
and the game. Yeah.
I also like how they talk about football in the beginning when he's like, recruiting budget. He's like, it's not football, guy.
Yeah.
You're not making any money off this. Like,
this is El Paso, Texas.
El Paso,
we
Texas
live
basketball.
and breathe football.
Yeah, we don't care about basketball.
Yeah. The next game is against number 4 ranked Iowa, who is just kicking their butts at halftime.
It's all the big, tall, white boy farm boys, which, oddly enough, is still what Iowa basketball is.
It's still how they do it.
Haskins.
How they do it with Fran McCaffrey as their coach.
yeah.
Haskins talks with Hill at halftime, and Hill tells him, that Iowa's better at the fundamental game, and they need to let them go out there and play their game. They can't play
Good,
fundamental.
smart argument.
Yeah. These guys
They're
are better at
at
what
your,
you want us to do.
Yeah, your game plan.
Let us go out there and be us. So they start playing their game, and they start making a run, and then we get a montage of them just kicking Iowa's butt.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Bobby Joe. If I let you just break guys down, you can get into the lane?
Yeah.
Crazy.
You know what's funny about watching this? And I've been a strong anti-college basketball person for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they play. I think this still goes on. Like, you will play the 2-3 zone. You will do this bullshit. Like, no, these players are way better than this. Like,
They were playing man, weren't they?
no,
Most-
I
oh, you
they
just-
were. I mean,
as an
like,
example,
as a
if you
coach,
go to
yeah.
Syracuse,
I mean, like,
you
play
will be
2-3.
playing the
like
zone.
Yeah.
these coaches are still doing this shit
Yes.
today. Like,
Yes.
you can't
Nobody
take
evolves.
that many threes. or
That's
you-
why Kentucky got
no
so
dunking.
good. Because Calipari was like,
Yeah.
hey, talented guys, come here, do whatever you want, and then go to the NBA.
Yep.
And it worked.
For a couple seasons, yeah.
I mean, still they're good. They're not
They're
what
good,
they were,
yeah.
but yeah.
Because what happened was Duke decided, oh wait,
We're going to do that
we're
too.
gonna do that too, and we're
But
gonna
I will
get
actually also
we're-
coach them a little.
We'll get the better players better than you,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna beat you.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
But still, I still think this goes on with college coaches. Who are like, gotta play my system.
Yeah.
It's like-
Absolutely, it does.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no. Sometimes these guys are way better. Like
Free
Kevin
flowing.
Durant playing in the Texas system.
Yeah.
Come on, They got knocked out in the first round of the NCAA.
That's true. Yeah.
Come on.
He was just a freshman. Freshman can't lead a team.
Right.
Didn't Melo win the championship his freshman year?
He sure does.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
But as a Knicks fan, you know he's maybe the best basketball player of
Oh
all
my
time.
God, the man doesn't play defense. He never did.
He did.
He did
was it
in
one of you guys
Syracuse.
saying that he's coming back, or did I read that online?
Oh,
That
you
the
must have
Knicks
read
want
it.
to bring him back.
No,
No way.
stop! Don't.
They
put
want to
that-
bring him
Shut-
home.
No.
Back home? I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
If they get Amari too, championship. Get
Amari.
Amari running the floor with Freddie Nicotine, he can't be beat.
Is he even there?
Amari can't
He's been
run
there for
up
years.
and down the floor anymore.
Is
he
he even
couldn't
there?
run up and down the floor back when we got him
When
the
he
first
was with
time.
Steve Nash, he could.
Even with Steve Nash, he could barely make it up by the time he went to the Knicks.
Carmelo is currently a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
Until they
Still.
bring him back home.
Still
With Westbrook and
Still-
LeBron
he's
and
still a Laker.
AD and Jesus. So they Texas Western beats Iowa, number 4 ranked Iowa.
That's a crazy upset.
Yep.
We
From
still-
a buzzer beater by Hill.
We still talk about the Michigan losing to who was that in college football?
Oh, Appalachian State.
Appalachian State. We
Yeah.
still talk about that shit,
Yeah. Yep.
despite the fact that I couldn't remember this college's name. We still talk about that Appalachian State thing.
And that was only a couple years ago.
It was like
App
15
State
years
became
ago.
a real team now because of that game.
like
They're a
15
1A
years ago.
team now.
So after the game, the players sneak out again and they go to a house party, and they bring along 3 or 4.
The white boys want to go.
They might have
The
brought.
white boys like catch him.
Did they
like,
brought?
I guess we gotta
yeah,
go.
they might have brought all 5 of the.
They
the
bring
white
at
boys.
least the 2 main ones.
Yeah.
The guy that plays defense and the big dumb ugly,
Big, dumb, and ugly.
Yep. Bodine or something like that.
who becomes Big Daddy at the party.
Yeah, accidentally, because Latin was Big Daddy.
He's a good dancer.
So they go to a house party. It's just a black house party.
Solid dance party.
These white teammates are sticking out like sore thumbs, but
Yep.
they're just standing by the wall, like 7th and 8th grade
You're
dances.
just like a 7th and 8th grade dance. One girl
Or
crosses the
me
line.
to this day if I'm sober.
One girl crosses that line and brings one guy over, and then it's on.
Yep.
You got to do that.
Jerry has a conversation with a few of the other guys about what he should call them. Should he call them black or should he call them colored? And they're like, "We're not laundry. Call us black." And then they tell him that bad means good. He's like, "No, bad means bad." He's like, "No. Bad means good."
So then what does good mean?
And they just laugh at him, I'm pretty sure.
At least he's trying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We get a montage of bus rides and newspaper clippings about their winning streak.
There has to be a montage in every sports movie, right?
Yeah.
Just to show that there has been a season.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a South Park thing? This is a montage. Time for a montage.
We get a racist booster talking to either the AD or the president of the college.
So this is another thing that's like super glossed over in this
Yeah.
movie. It's like there's this booster. We're not sure if he's the president of the college or a booster. They all kind of weird, generic looking white dudes.
Yeah.
And then
But I mean,
later on, like they don't really cause any trouble. They're just like, I don't know about this.
yeah.
You just won like 25 games in a row. What do you mean you don't know about this?
Yeah.
Which at one point
I
they
don't
tell
know
him
about
that
this.
like they're winning. He's like, all right, well, what if they stop winning? He's like, well, they're fucking winning.
I haven't lost yet. And then later on, he just shows back up and he's like, I'm real sorry about that.
Yeah.
Because it like makes him money. Like they put him as like the face of it. It's
Yeah.
like to look at what he's doing and he's like, oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry I was mean before. This
Oh,
was good
for
me."
the magazine article, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Sports Illustrated or something.
The team goes to a diner on one of their road trips, and Shed goes to the bathroom, where he's attacked by 3 white guys. And then when he comes back out, everybody like freaks out. They go looking for the guys who beat him up, but Haskin gets everybody back on the bus.
That's his strategy for everything.
Yep.
Just get on the bus.
Get on the bus.
Get on the bus right
Get
now.
out of here.
We're going now. We're leaving now.
We're going to drive 40 hours right now.
Yep.
No rest.
The black players have a meeting in one of their rooms, and they say that from now on they go everywhere in twos. That way, like this will never happen to them again, especially in the South.
They're fine at home now, but not on the road.
Yeah. Haskins goes home, and his wife is worried about him because he got home so late, and she's got a letter in her hands, and he takes it away from her, and it's a life-threatening letter, like very strong language in it. So he's like, you got to tell me about this stuff.
Yeah, because he's like, is this the first one? She's like, no. There's been a bunch of them.
Which I like. There's similarities between this and Remember the Titans, and Remember the Titans did it much better.
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Hill and Tina are sitting in the car having a heart-to-heart about like just being attacked all the damn time.
It also, I didn't realize until the very end of this movie that was Tatiana L.A.
I didn't realize until you just told me right now.
Cousin Ashley.
It's weird because you said that
Is it really cousin?
last week.
Yeah.
You said that last week, and it just didn't register until after the movie. But you did say Tatiana Ali is in this movie.
We see Scoops and Sweet Pea, which is what they call themselves in this scene, talking on the court, and Scoops just kind of like playing around, and then he grabs his chest and falls over, and he apparently has fainted.
Yeah.
Really.
He's got a heart condition that he
Yeah.
hid from the coach.
Yeah. Haskins goes and finds him after class one time, and he tells him, after the doctors tell him that he's got an enlarged heart, and Scoops is like, yeah, I already knew that. I've been playing like that for years
My
now.
entire life.
Yeah. Haskins tells him that he's not going to play him anymore, but he's still going to be on the team because he doesn't want to risk
Which
his
this
life.
is how I feel like it would go. Is
Yeah.
this would be the end of it though. Like, you are not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you die on the court, our school is
We are
effed.
screwed. Yeah. The team then goes to Dallas. I don't know why, but Kentucky shows up at the same time in the same airport. Haskins talks to Coach Rupp, who just gives him the cold shoulder because he looks over at the team and he sees a bunch of black players.
Yeah, they play. This maybe was done well, but they like make it seem like he's racist, but doesn't ever actually say anything bad. Like when he's asked directly about stuff, he just will go back to like, "Oh, we're gonna play our game. I believe in our boys, whatever.
Yeah. We don't
Like,
worry about
we're
the
the
other team
champions."
ever.
Like
Yeah.
he doesn't ever actually say anything bad, but they always like paint him
As,
like
like,
giving weird
racist.
looks and being racist, which
Yeah.
probably is. I wouldn't be surprised if this was true to life.
Man's first name is Adolf.
It's true.
Just put it
Adolf
out there. So they
We
now
find
have
out that he did recruit a black player. Finally,
Yeah,
after this.
after
Yes.
this for sure. They got a tough game against East Texas, but they just barely eke out a win against a super racist crowd that was throwing stuff at them, dumping
Dumping
shit
popcorn
on
and
their
drinks
head.
on him as they
Yeah.
come on the court and stuff. Yeah.
Then they get back to their hotel rooms and find all the black players' rooms are trashed with blood on the walls and vulgar language.
Yeah.
Latin tells a story on the bus about being beaten up by some white kids when he was a kid, but that what they're going through now is different because it seems it's the whole world against them, not just
Yeah, because
a
he was
group of
able
white
to.
kids.
He was able to go and beat them up individually, one at a time,
Yeah.
until they respected him. One by one, he took them out.
So then, Coach Ross must be the weird old guy.
Weird old guys.
Yeah.
He makes a turn.
He tells Haskins that he's doing the right thing and not to lose faith and just stay the course, basically. The next game is against Seattle, and the Miners are down early. The team really isn't playing together. Like, it seems like the black players will only pass to the other black players. They lose, and the team has a breakdown in the locker room. They're yelling at each other. Players turning on players. But then Haskins gives a speech about not giving in to the hatred that they experience. Like, if you just roll over and lose everything, you're quitting. You're letting them win. I know that sounds repetitive, but that was basically the gist of his his speech there. Then they have their first tournament game. At one point they were number 3 or 4 in the nation. Their first tournament NCAA tournament game is against
sense.
Kansas
I think
after one loss.
I don't think that the tournament was very big at this time though. Like it
Okay.
wasn't a 64 team tournament for sure.
Okay.
But I feel like there was 4 or 8 teams or something like that.
Okay.
What year
So
was
maybe
this?
60. This is 66.
They say
technically.
66, but I don't think that's correct.
No, because
Wally was telling me about this.
so they do play a little fast, and they kind of condense the first 2 seasons that Haskins is there into one
He
season
began coaching in 1961.
at Texas Western.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So first, 5
Wait,
seasons.
hold on.
The 1966 division,
No,
which is
it's-
when
yeah.
they won,
Yeah.
in real life when they won, was 22 schools.
Weird.
strange.
Yes.
He began coaching at Texas Western in 61.
Okay, so they just condensed everything into one season to make it seem like a
Yeah.
super story. So they have their first game against Kansas. Haskins talks to Scoop's mom before the game, and she wants him to play, even just for a little bit, even if 5 seconds or 5 minutes. Just let him play. The game starts, and Kansas has them in a tough spot. So Haskins goes to Scoop. He puts them in, and he gives them a lift. Kansas keeps the pressure on, though. Haskins makes a switch and puts Armstrong on the Kansas All-American guard. And Armstrong surprisingly shuts him down. He's just a defensive specialist, like me.
I also was a
Could not-
defensive specialist.
Could not
so-
shoot for my life, but
Wow.
On our actual almost good team, I was a starter, but then I would be removed for Anthony Huff to play because he was a good shooter.
Yeah.
And then he would be removed if we needed defense, and I would go back in.
You were like the Tayshaun Prince if we were the 2004 Pistons.
Correct.
You'd be out there doing all the dirty work, but then you'd be replaced at some
Yep.
point by
makes sense.
Yep.
What?
whoever the shooter was on that team.
For us, it was Anthony Huff.
Yeah. Who wasn't even that good of a shooter.
No.
but
Better than I, though.
Slightly better.
Kansas goes up with 10 seconds left, but we got a long heave from Bodine down the court to Latin, who passes it back out to Hill,
Big time outlet pass from
Yeah.
the big man.
who throws it up to Scoop for the dunk to send it to overtime.
I can only assume he's Kevin Love's ancestor, right? He has to be Kevin Love's ancestor.
Yeah, for sure.
The king of the outlet pass ancestor.
Giant white guy? Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of dumb looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
The big dumb white guy. Big dumb movie.
At the end of the first overtime, Lanton gets a dunk to put them up by 2, but then he gets called for hanging on the rim, which gives Kansas 2 free throws. They hit them both to send it to a second overtime. Myers go up by 1 with only a few seconds left. Kansas gets it to their all-star, their All-American, who shoots a 3 for the win, but he had stepped out of bounds. And if you do watch it, they're very good about making sure he steps out of bounds and showing it
Yes.
without
Yes.
like showing it.
Very controversial, though.
Also, a black guy though. Like they don't talk about the fact that,
They're playing against one black guy.
but he's like the star.
yeah. They're playing against one black guy per team that they
Yes.
play.
And they also run him down. Like, oh, he's all show. No, he's very good.
Yeah.
You guys.
So they wave the basket off and Texas Western wins. Rupp and Haskins then have a press conference, and Rupp just gives his team no respect. Just like, because at one point Haskins says, "Oh, how are you going to stop Bobby Joe Hill and David Latin?" He goes, "Who are they?"
Who?
And it's like, geez, man, like you got to know your opponent a little bit,
This is
right?
him playing.
I like how he doesn't even look like John Voight. He has
No,
like
he
a fake
doesn't.
nose, right?
Yeah.
He's got a fake nose or some kind of fake thing on his face. Doesn't look like himself.
So
He's also always a racist in movies.
Yeah. I was very much like hearing the Varsity Blues coach.
Varsity racist blues coach.
You're the damn dumbest smart kid I've ever seen.
That movie has to come up at some point.
got
on
it.
this.
Oh, that's
somebody
such a
will.
good-
Somebody will.
I've seen it so many times. It's so good.
So there's some kind of like party shindig thing where the wives are there. and Haskins' wife tells off some bitches because they're making fun of his team. They're like, "Yeah, I'm married to that guy that you just made fun of," and then she walks away. Mrs. Rupp comes over, introduces herself, and they form like a little friendship.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering if that was kind of real, because it seems like
Maybe
they might be like Rupp
Seems odd.
and Haskins
Seems
would be friends after.
a bit odd to throw that in, but
Yeah.
okay.
So the day before the game, and Haskins is at the court and he's looking around the way, the day before a big game you have in every sports movie, you go to the field and look around. The players are talking in bed to each other about the importance of the game, how family members are coming, everybody in their small towns are going to the one
My
place.
dad likes basketball now.
Exactly, yeah. Haskins then calls all of them up and brings them to the cart. Then he starts saying all the BS that they've been hearing about, and he's making it sound like, he's actually believing this. So all the black players are getting real pissed. He's like, are you guys sick of it, or should I keep going with all this BS?
He is portrayed probably correctly as kind of just a jerk
Yeah.
throughout a lot of this movie.
Yeah. Even at the very start, he's telling, what do you want, a skirt? And
To
he's
the
talking to
girls'
his girls'
basketball
basketball team.
He coaches hard.
Yeah.
No nonsense.
So he's saying all this BS that they've been hearing about black players being inferior to white players. And then he says that he's made a decision and that he's only playing the 7 black players the entire game. That's it. The white players, he appreciates them for all their hard work, but we're gonna make a statement.
Tonight. That's tough.
I want to say I think it was Jerry stood up and he says that he wants to play, but he fully supports the decision.
Right.
So they better go out and win.
Which if that's your best lineup, okay. But if you're just trying to prove a point,
Which
this is a bad time to do it.
yeah, I mean maybe big dumb white guy, maybe he could play, but the other ones didn't seem all that
The one
special.
was like the defensive guy, and then
Yeah,
the other big-
Armstrong,
and then
yeah.
so maybe they're just not as good. But
Maybe.
especially when the one guy gets hurt, you'd think like, okay, now maybe one of them has to play.
Yeah.
I did laugh in the beginning when they were showing the white guys and the trainer was like going over the roster.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy, 19 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
This guy, 12 rebounds a game. Like, all they can do is rebound.
Yeah.
They can't do anything else. Nobody can score on this team.
So something I found very interesting was there's a bunch of Confederate flags in the crowd.
Yes.
Which was probably very true
I
because
would
they were
assume so.
they're in Maryland.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Haskins pulls Lattin aside and says, "This is the time to let your anger out," because earlier in the movie he got in a couple technicals for like getting fouled hard and getting called for fouls, and even though it wasn't him.
And this was a real thing because we see this later at the end during
Yeah.
the credits.
Yep.
It reminded me of the Patrick Ewing thing, the Georgetown Patrick Ewing thing when Thompson told them just block every shot.
Yeah.
In the one NCAA final, the first one,
yeah.
where he's like, I don't care if it's gold. I don't care if you get goaltending every single fucking time. Block every fucking shot and make them completely be afraid to take a shot.
Yeah.
And that there's literally clips of him like grabbing it out of the air and like coming down with it. And like, you are not going to make a shot even if I give you points for this, which is insane.
He also tells Lattin that, the first play, this is what's going to happen. You go up and you slam it down their throats. I don't care if you have to run over anybody. Like, make a statement. Then he pulls Hill aside and he tells him not to reach for the ball against, was it Lambier?
It wasn't Lambier. It was some Lemire or something like
Okay.
that.
Against their all-American guard.
To really pump that All-American.
Yeah.
All-American. This guy's an All-American.
I
I couldn't even tell you who's an All-American now in college basketball.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Maybe like 5 minutes into the game, and Flournoy gets injured very bad, and he won't be able to play for the rest of the game.
And like we said, they make it out to be like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he's
Louis
the guy.
Dampier, second team All American.
Dampier. Okay.
Not apparently his teammate, Pat Riley.
Pat
At
Riley.
least not this year.
We we do no. Pat Riley's in this.
Yeah, but he's not an All-American.
Oh,
and they
okay,
call him
okay.
one in the movie. But
Mm.
at least this year he was not.
Scoops gets put in. Latin then gets his third foul, so he has to come out. And Shed goes in while Haskins pulls Hill aside and he tells him something. They make it seem like it's something important, but we don't hear anything. Hill then gets 2 steals in a row to tie it up and force a timeout. This is in the second half, isn't it? I think so. No, this is still in the first half.
Third team All-American he was.
So the Miners are giving up some size, but are keeping the lead for the first half. Pat Riley does hit a buzzer beater at the end of the half, but Texas Western still leading by 3 or 4. Rupp, when they come back out, Rupp is telling his players to get Latin to foul out, and Haskins is telling Latin to stay disciplined, don't leave your feet for anything. Kentucky comes out hot, and they take a lead in the beginning of the second half. Latin gets his 4th foul on what seems to be a pretty bad call, and he's got to come out again. Texas Western starts to make a run again, which maybe take Latin out and keep him out, because they just seem to be playing better without him in this game.
I think he played small ball. I think
Yeah.
he said he was playing more guards than forwards.
They go up by 3 with 2 minutes left in the game. So Rupp calls a timeout. Now his speech here, very weak. He's like, "This is you. Like, you should win." Like, whereas Haskins, like, he seems already defeated. Whereas Haskins' speech is super pumped up and like he's getting his boys ready.
The closed captioning actually says like Kentucky players say yes, sir, dejectedly. They know they're gonna lose.
Yep. Haskins puts Latin back in. Kentucky comes out of the timeout and scores, but the teams just keep trading baskets for a little while. Kentucky needs a basket, but Hill gets a steal and jumps out of bounds to save the ball and throws it to one of the teammates, and then it ends up to Scoop, who puts it off the backboard for Latin to slam home. Very sweet, a la Wade to
Some
James, kind of.
Yeah, some Vince Carter ass shit.
Yeah.
Not fundamental basketball. is
Not
what it
fundamental basketball. No.
Definitely not fundamental.
Kentucky puts up a wild shot at the end, and Texas Western gets the rebound as the time runs out. We see a lot of celebrations. I did like that Scoops just like walks into the crowd to hug his mama.
Yep.
The team returns home on a plane, and they get off the plane, and we see what each player did with the rest of his life.
Not the white players, just the black players.
No, there was
One, I think.
one or
There was one,
there
the
was
defensive
one.
specialist.
Yeah, Jerry
Yeah.
Armstrong.
We don't know what happened to the Big Dumb Ugly.
Yeah. So Willie Cager started a charitable foundation in El Paso to help underprivileged students graduate from high school. David Latin was a first-round draft choice for the San Francisco Warriors, and he played professionally for 8 years. Neville Shedd was drafted by the Celtics and then became an assistant coach for Haskins later on. Jerry Armstrong, the white guy, became a high school principal and basketball coach in Missouri with 300-plus wins.
Naturally.
Harry Flournoy became a teacher and coach at an elementary school in El Paso. Orson Artis became a police detective back in Gary, Indiana. Willie Worsley played in the ABA and then became dean of students for the Boys Choir of Harlem. And then Bobby Joe Hill married Tina, but did not pursue professional basketball. He remained a hero in El Paso until his death in 2002. Haskins led the Miners to 14 NCAA tourneys and 719 wins, and was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1997. Then they talk about Rupp and Tubby Smith in Kentucky for a bit, and I'm like, all right, well, that's not what the movie's about, but okay. But then I did you watch during the credits?
Yes.
Yes.
Pat
They got
Riley
the
and all the other
actual
guys.
players from the
Yep.
teams talking about this.
That was great.
Yeah.
Pat was great because like when he's talking about David Latin dunking,
Mhm.
like he's like, yeah, he dunked that real hard. It was intimidating.
And then he
does-
also talked about how Hill got the 2 steals in a
Yeah.
row, and he's like, that
was
broke
the end of
us.
the game,
man.
Yeah.
Which that one to me seemed like it wasn't real, but apparently that was real. Yeah.
And they played it out on screen, basically how it happened in real life too. Like
Yeah.
he trapped a guy at midcourt and stole it from him as he turned back to the middle of the court. And then what was the guy's name? Lamir?
Lemire, yeah.
The guard turned away from him, and he basically like ran around the back of him and stripped the ball from him. And that's what they did in the movie. So I was like, I did like that they actually showed that full clip. I was like, are they going to cut it to show both? But they showed the full like 30-second clip.
Yep.
So at the very end, they do show a picture of the actual Texas Western Miners basketball team.
Right.
And now for our eBay Wars, if you want to take a look at this,
I'm ready.
this is...
Where'd it go? There it is.
This is
Where's-
a frame picture of the team.
Yep. Texas Western Miners, JSA, 8-team autographs, 1965/66 NCAA basketball champs. It's framed. It looks like just a picture. It's the picture at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where would extra words? Oh, there. So the description. Texas Western Miners framed 8 of the players' team autographs. 1965 to 1966 NCAA basketball champs! ! Today, this team is known as UTEP. The significance of this team was that it started 5 Afro-American players for the first time in championship history. They went on to beat Kentucky to win the national championship. This uniquely framed photo has 8 of the 10 players' autographs and is also authenticated by JSA. They only lost 1 game in the season. Their coach was Don Haskins. This photo and autographs are an amazing piece of collegiate basketball history. What do we say this is going for on eBay?
It should be a lot, right?
You would think this would be a lot.
A big thing. Who has to do the opening bid?
Who has to do
Well,
the
you
opening
guys,
bid?
you guys are
We've
tied
never
0-0
faced
since
off.
you haven't faced off.
Oh, we haven't
before.
faced off yet.
Yes.
So I got a perfect score. Does that mean I have to go first?
Sure.
Yep.
Give
Even
me,
though asterisks on his score.
Sure.
Give me
Very hard asterisk.
3 hundo.
3 hundo.
It's probably
Bill?
I was gonna say around 1 hundo, but to be safe, I'll say $50.
Bill wins.
ah.
Yep. This goes for, you would have been fine with 100 too.
Okay.
This goes for $133.99.
That seems way too low for
So
such
you
an
gotta get
important
this, man.
thing.
$12 shipping.
That seems
For
awfully
US.
low.
Are you gonna get it then?
No, I'm not doing
course
that.
it's not.
No,
Of course, Ryan wants no part of this.
it's cool. I don't have a connection to this team right now.
Yep. So yeah.
All right.
Thoughts on the movie?
I like this movie. I think there's a lot of good things here. It glosses over some stuff.
It glosses
Yeah.
over a lot.
yeah.
And you can't really dig in. Like you said, remember the Titans. I feel like I dig in with all those players.
Yeah.
You know, I connected with all those guys.
It's kind of the same story, just in basketball, and
I do feel
Great-
like they try
yeah.
to cram a lot in, and
Yeah.
for that reason, it's like short. Like every scene is like
very short. Yeah, I was taking more notes than I was expecting to take.
We get introduced to a lot of people, and none of the scenes really expand on those guys
right.
enough.
We get introductions, and that's kind of it for most
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
But it was good. I liked it.
Say 6.3.
Give me a 6.8.
I'll split the difference and say 6.5.
Okay.
Where does that leave it?
That leaves it as our 4th highest movie
Out of 6.
Okay.
out of 6.
Okay.
It's just behind Little Giants, which was 6.8.
That seems like a problem.
Yeah.
Stats goofs. As we said, the years are kind of messed up because Don Haskins started coaching in 61.
You were right. John Voight wore prosthetic ears, cheeks, and nose.
Yeah, he did not look like himself. The girls' basketball game was so different in the 70s, and before that, it didn't even look like real basketball. You couldn't even move.
Oh,
feel like
just
they
play
can
it-
dribble,
You
right?
had to play in a specific zone.
I feel like that's sort of like lacrosse when you see women's lacrosse, even
Yeah.
today. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they
not the
can't-
same game.
Yeah, they can't hit each other.
Like, I don't know how
They
you
can
even play
barely
defense.
stick check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don Haskins says he wants to coach Division One. That didn't become a thing until '71. The WAC conference didn't exist until after this championship, where they talk about the WAC a couple times. A bunch of the logos are different. They're too modern.
Here, the one I see here is the movie makes it seem like Cager missed a lot of the season with his heart condition.
Mhm.
In reality, he played 27 of 29 games.
Oh
Right.
wow.
They show NBC and the NBC Peacock, but they weren't using the Peacock. There's a lot of that
Oh,
kind of stuff
shit.
going on.
When Shed was beaten up by the white people in the restaurant, the actor did the fight himself, and he broke his nose and 3 ribs.
Oh.
Damn.
Oops.
Ooh.
I mean, that's dedication to
Yeah.
your craft.
Yeah. There's a lot of people falling and being taken off the court, but then they're still on the court, that kind of stuff.
The during the championship game against Kentucky, the 3-point shooting rule is not in effect. The NCAA experimented with the shot in '45, but didn't adopt it until '86.
So I looked up Don Haskins real quick to
Mhm.
see his stats or whatever, his records. This is the best team he ever had.
Yes,
After that,
definitely.
he was always good, but never really made it to the third round made it to the Sweet 16 in 1991. This guy coached all the way to 99. Coached
That's a
for a
lot.
long
Wow, yeah.
fucking time. 719 wins, 353 losses.
This is
All for UTEP.
This is an interesting one. The film glosses over the fact that during the championship game against Kentucky, the majority of the Kentucky starters were suffering from the flu, an illness that had plagued both Kentucky and Duke in their Final Four games days before. While All-American stars Dampier and Riley, who appeared in a cameo in this film, were feeling poor and fatigued from the illness, starting guard Conley was tremendously affected. He had a fever of 102 and had to take breathing treatments over a cup of Vicks on the sideline.
Yikes.
But he served as a consultant for the film, so he chose not to emphasize the illness that much. So that's interesting.
Glory Road was the term used by Rupp in his farewell speech to fans. Rupp Jr., Adolph Rupp Jr., unfortunate for you that you were a junior,
Yeah.
worried his father would be villainized, except for they made it very careful not to mischaracterize Rupp as a racist completely. There's also some stuff about Haskins was upset about certain things being cut from the movie as well, from his story. Yeah, it's good. Quote Mountain. I don't know if there's a quote mountain for
There's
this.
there's a lot of
Good speeches,
inspirational
but
type
yeah,
stuff.
no funny.
The only thing I can
quotes.
find funny wise, and this I didn't even remember, I had to look this up, was when they're in the cafeteria and he says taco, nacho, burrito. And one of the guys,
Hot
one of the
dog.
players goes, "No, I'm looking for El Hot Doggo."
Yeah.
Okay.
Not great.
That's not great, but like there's like more inspirational stuff, I guess. There's
Oh yeah.
you'll play basketball my way. My way is hard. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I speak, you listen. I don't want to hear can't, won't, or coach, I'm bleeding. I don't want to hear anything except a basketball bounce.
Mhm. The one
yeah.
I really like was they're trying to take our dignity away from us, and Haskins says, "Your dignity is inside you. Nobody can take something away from you you don't give them."
Which is also something that Bobby Joe's girlfriend says, right?
yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Okay,
That might be it, I guess. Cause I don't
sure,
know.
why not?
Okay.
Most valuable player of this movie is
Bobby Joe.
It's got to be. I guess it's got to be Bobby Joe, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Joe.
Yeah, I mean,
The one scene I like the big dumb white guy when he's like, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you like chitlins, It's pig intestines," and he just like looks and keeps eating, and then he dances.
Okay,
What?
yeah.
Bobby Joe is like the only one that they actually
He's the only one we can
really do stuff. Him or the
Yeah.
coach. I don't think it's the coach.
No.
No.
Ryan, I assume you love Adolphus Ruff, but
No. Yeah, no, I don't.
Adolphus, not even Adolphus, Adolf.
Adolf Rupp. Okay, next review is on you, Bill. Is it time to spin the wheel?
I think we ought to spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel?
Unless we want to like keep it. We haven't crossed sports multiple times yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
No.
I mean, basketball is not a sport.
That's
so.
true.
That's its own
So I
thing.
could do like a golf. Let's spin the wheel and make
Spin,
the deal.
Spin the wheel, see what it lands on.
Yes.
I like the sound effects it makes too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can barely hear it.
'Cause it's a real wheel.
We've got baseball.
Okay. Let me just make sure it's available.
Baseball.
We're gonna do like a more dramatic one than Sandlot. Let me just make sure it's available.
More
to watch.
dramatic. Okay.
This is one that I've seen before. I assume we all have.
Like one about a closer who may or may not have come out of jail and
No,
No, I'm thinking it's about a bull. Durham.
no,
Oh.
that's Ryan's to do. We're gonna watch 1989's Field of Dreams,
oh boy.
available
Field
on
of Dreams.
Hulu with Stars.
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Hulu with stars.
I've seen this. I like it. It's been a while.
Been a while.
Been
Been
a-
a
Oh,
while.
wow.
It's back.
Oh boy.
It's back.
Yeah,
It's back.
it has been a while.
This is
Been a while.
This is one where there's a lot of the movies off the field stuff.
Yeah.
But there is certainly games.
The whole thing's about baseball, though.
Yes.
So
And it's part of like they now play in Major League Baseball a Field of Dreams game, like
Yeah.
in cornfields in Iowa.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think, to be honest, I think I've only watched this one time all the way through.
I've seen it at least once all the way through, and then I've seen parts and
Yeah.
whatever. We'll have to decide if James Earl Jones is playing the same character from Sandlot or not.
No, because he's a reporter, I think. in
He's
this.
a writer,
He's like a baseball
like a
writer.
novelist, I think.
Oh, he's in. Yeah, you're right. I think he's a novelist.
Is-
right.
Isn't he in another baseball movie though?
Sandlot.
No, other than The Sandlot.
Oh,
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, he's been in everything.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yes, that's what we'll be watching. I thought about Bull Durham, but I feel like Ryan, that when we get there, that'll be yours to tackle.
That might be a 3-hour episode. That might be longer than the actual movie.
Why?
Just because that's my like. You have a go-to movie in your arsenal where you're like, I've had a bad day or I've had a good day. I'm gonna watch this.
I've got a couple, but
There was one summer where I had it, and I put it in my PlayStation 4, and would come back from work late at night, get a drink, go and sit, and then I'd be like, I could do anything right now, or Bull Durham's in my fucking PS4, and I could just watch that again. And I swear I did it like 9 out of 10 nights, maybe more. This summer I watched it, I think 3 nights in a row. I watched it by myself. I watched it like a second night with Rachel, and then a third night I was
By
like,
yourself
I'll
again?
just watch it again.
I've seen it.
It's just
I think I've only seen it once, though.
Bull Durham you only seen
I
once?
think so, yeah.
I'm positive I've only seen it once.
Oh, man, I love it.
And then it's not even like, oh, and then I've seen scenes. No, it's been one time.
I've seen scenes.
The Church of Baseball. All right.
But we're not watching it. We're watching
No,
Field
we're
of
not.
Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
With
Field of
Kevin Costner
Dreams.
still.
Are you gonna cry when you watch it?
I don't know.
When he throws the ball with Dad?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's an emotional movie. Playing baseball with your dead dad in a cornfield that your dad's a ghost.
You do that? I probably would cry if that was a real life thing.
All right, we're done. Peace out.